Let's just do it. That's right. Yeah.
So these are the kind of debates you have on the depth chart? No, well,
Not usually.
So how did day 2 go, Jeff?
Day 2 was a typical day 2. You know, as you install things, there's more mistakes, and you know, so great tape to learn from for all the young guys, and so offense was a little rusty today, but that's typical of how camp goes. You know, with installation of plays.
So you can almost anticipate that.
Yeah.
First day was well, the second, and everybody's light on their feet. The second day there's more to digest.
Yeah, you know, there was still a lot of excitement, people playing hard. That wasn't the issue. It's just, you know, you install, you know, a very minimal package going on the first day, and then every day there's just more that goes in. And, you know, so when people are thinking, then the execution drops off a little bit. And so once you force feed all the installation, you come back and do it again and sharpen out the execution.
How was Kyrie today on day 1?
Kyrie he just showed up. I think he got here like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So we spent most of the day just doing compliance and getting his uniform and, you know, all that type of thing, really getting him checked in. And you know, we'll bring him along depending on how his knee feels, you know, because he had in April, around April 20th, 21st, somewhere in there, he had a knee procedure. So
we're allowed to talk about that now? Everything's been signed?
I think he signed his papers.
So was he able to practice at all today, or did he just kind of show up?
No, we just showed up.
Is he mostly tired or excited to be here? Or?
No, I think he's excited to be here. He'll be in here in a few minutes. You can talk to him. He's excited to be here. He's excited as anyone can who was on a plane till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Just to say sleepy.
Yes, he has.
He has.
Okay.
So the nature of the knee then was what, if you can tell us any detail?
He had a patella problem, and you know, it was a chronic thing for him, but it was time to get it fixed. And so he got it fixed, but he should, you know, prognosis is at least the early stages is, you know, that he's cleared by the season. So, but we have to bring him along slowly and see what our doctors think of it. You know, now you turn it over to our doctors and kind of monitor his progress with it.
So minimal, if any, contact, but he can maybe go on like a touch 7-on-7 kind of a thing?
He won't do any contact right now. He won't do any contact, and we'll just monitor his progress as he goes and, you know, see how that feels. The last thing we want to do, and I've made it really clear to him, that he doesn't have to come in here and try to prove something and put himself in harm's way and coming back before he's ready to play. So we will make sure that we're careful, as we are with any of our players who have come off of surgical procedures.
Is he purely be a patient guy? Will he be okay with that approach?
He's a smart guy, so I think he understands that. You know, he's a smart guy and he's a veteran, so he understands the process of and how important rehab is. You know, and I think he's confident enough in his abilities that he doesn't feel like he needs to do something before he's ready, you know, to set himself back.
Who was recruiting him out of high school?
Kenwick.
Kenwick Thompson.
With so many viable options for those 2 inside linebacker spots, how do you begin to pare down to, you know, maybe the 4 or 5 candidates and divide the reps? How do you work that whole process?
Well, everyone's getting reps right now, you know, all the way through 4s. You know, we have 4 deep, you know, that's going right now. And then as you get into pads, and then you start kind of weaning that back a little bit and really working 2s and 3s at that point, you know, and the 4s then become 3s, and you just kind of move people in and out. I don't know the number of reps that they'll get. You know, that comes with evaluation. As you evaluate and as you see who's coming along, and then, you know, they earn more reps.
Yeah, we lost the 2 inside guys. Obviously, were really, really good. Now you add another one plus Whiteside's back. Are you sort of feeling like an area that maybe you have a little bit of question mark? Suddenly, you have a lot more choices, and you're feeling better about it?
Well, you know, not a lot of question marks in there, because I think we're pretty gifted in there. You with Wilkerson and Forbes and Gibson, some young guys who are really good players. It's just their turn now. They played behind the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year last year, and now it's their turn to step up. And that's just to mention a few of them. I don't want to leave anybody out, but I feel like we do have some depth, at the linebacker position, both inside and outside. So it's just a matter of competition and who executes the best and who makes the most plays.
Last year, Mike said that a big help to him was having DJ next to him. Kind of, okay, you get there, and then once the snap goes, then go get him and put him in a position to succeed. How much of that inside pairing is having somebody in there who knows what they're doing more than just having the pure?
Well, that mainly came with Kinders because he was used to playing outside. And so when he made the move inside, DJ was a veteran inside, and so to get him and they did a nice job of communication, back and forth with one another. You heard them talking to one another all the time. I don't think it was a one-sided thing at all, but moving in there, making adjustments, DJ was the guy that made most of the adjustments. And I think it's a little early to tell right now, who's going to assume that role, or even if that communication is key no matter what. But I'm not sure that there's going to be a situation where one has to get another guy lined up. We can see how
Wilkie's moving in from the out. Wilkerson's moving in from the outside.
He would be a guy that would fit like a Kendrick's situation to move from outside to inside. And when you have guys with ability like that, and you want to get them on the field, you need to make sure that everybody. Communication's key no matter what. From the secondary to the backers to the D line. It's all communication is really key.
So when is your first day in pads or full contact?
Tomorrow will be in shells, the next day will be in shells, and then the following day will be in pads.
Wednesday?
So what's that, Wednesday?
Saw Lucas King out there look like in dime situations on the outside. What's he done to impress you guys?
He's in all personnel groups, but he can run. He's athletic. He's got a lot of range. He's long arm guy. So he's done a nice job. He had a nice spring, and I think he'll continue to develop through the fall. That's why I said there's a lot of depth, with those guys at that outside position. Scarlett's back, and Scarlett and Camparelli and McCain and King. There's a lot of guys, a lot of linebackers to choose from.
I have one question. If I can just catch up here on that scribbling. I don't have one of them fancy recording devices. I just.
It is 2012.
That's what. Yeah.
Says Mr. Brand New Twitter over here.
Gotta get home and churn my own butter.
Milk the cow.
All right.
So you're on.
Go ahead. What is the question?
Christian Okafor, what's his status? I didn't see him practicing yesterday.
Yesterday he was sick. He had 101 degree fever. The fever broke, so he practiced today.
Can I ask you one question about, we talked yesterday about going back to see the Patriots during their OTA. Was that a decision you made because you felt it was something you needed to incorporate into your offense, or was it personnel driven because you have people who could benefit from it?
I think a little bit of both. It's always nice to go study ball somewhere, and all things. And it wasn't just about tight end play; it was a little bit about everything, and have a chance to spend some time with Coach Belichick and talk to him.
Did you have a previous relationship with him?
I had not. I had not, but he was very welcoming. I talked to the team when I left. The day he asked me to talk to the team when I left there, which was unusual. I wasn't expecting that.
But a little bit of the opposite of what you would think, right?
But it was nice to see. It was nice to see Shane, of course. See Shane. He was doing a nice job, and so it was nice to spend some time with Coach Belichick and just kind of look at the organization and the work ethic and the discipline and with a team that's enjoyed so much success. So it's nice to just go study, but part of the reason to go there too was the ability to utilize tight end play because they've done such a great job of it. So it was a little bit of everything, really.
You mentioned the organization and structure. Is there anything you can take from the professional level to apply it here on college, or is there are there some things that just transcend both levels?
More than just, more like practice habits, more like practice organization. If there's something that you can pick out of practice, different drills that they may do. It's always interesting to me to see how NFL players can practice so fast without being on the ground. And I think that's a tribute to their athleticism. If you have good athletes, you can play fast and you're not on the ground, which, that way you're not falling in people's knees or rolling in the ankles or whatever. So they're really able to practice fast. And I think we do a pretty good job of that, really. Our team practices fast and we stay up, but just different practice organization things, that I think can be universal, whether it be pro or college football.
Did you feel like you were perhaps underutilizing the tight end position recently?
Yeah, I feel like I feel like we have a different skill set with our tight end right now, with Rogers and with Hagan. Hagan's a converted receiver, but he's done a nice job of building himself up. He's really smart.
Rogers was a wide out high school.
Exactly, but he weighs 270 pounds.
Right.
Be a tackle.
Today he released off the ball on one of the DBs and just left him standing there and got down the field, and I said, it was actually Damari Drew. It was really funny. I said, Damari, you know how much that guy weighs? And he said 280. He said he weighs 280. He said, man, he can move for 280. He had big eyes. It was like, we got a 280-pound guy here that just shook me like that. So he.
You want to maximize what you can do with him, I guess.
Right.
Didn't think 280 pounds could move like that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's only 270 though.
Before lunch.
Yeah.
Billy Cannon weighed about 212, I think.
Yes.
Speaking of Damari Drew, he flashed a little bit, at least from our vantage point yesterday, and he's a very athletic kid. He both he and Koprick. What was behind the decision to have them both on defense?
Well, Damari was recruited as a defensive guy all the way. Coppridge was a guy who could do either. Early signs are that Willie Fletcher and Damari really have a nice skill set. They have good feet, they can run. Damari's physical. I know when we put the pads on, I'm anxious to see it, but I have a pretty good idea that he's gonna do a good job of tackling. And Willie Fletcher is a long, rangy corner who can run, and he's physical. It's a second day in helmets. But you can see certain guys flash there, and those two guys have kind of stuck out a little bit.
So beyond those two, are there any other of the incoming freshmen that have really, caught your eye so far?
I think they all look good, but it's just, to make those guys in space are a little bit easier to see, at times. I thought Matt Cochran had a nice practice yesterday. Today he struggled a little bit with the quarterback center exchange. But there's a lot to know in there. It's moving kind of fast for him, but I felt like he showed some nice signs of being a big guy who can move his feet, and so I was pleased with him. But again, it's the second day in helmets, and there's a long way to go. And then I think we talked about it yesterday that Cole, the punter, was a pleasant, I don't want to say surprise, but it's just nice to see that he did the same thing again today. He had some nice ones today. So.
Now you just hope you don't have to use it very often, right?
Yeah, you don't want him to be your #1 weapon.
Is Treg's going to be returning kick, punt, anything in that?
We're in the evaluation process with that right now. All those young guys during special teams period are catching punts and catching kickoffs, and guys who can come off the edge and block kicks. And so you know, we had a big couple of special team drills today to just see how people move in space, how people avoid blocks, can they tackle. You know, we didn't tackle today, but can they move their feet to get in position to tackle? A lot of evaluation going on that way, and then of course when it becomes real football, then you can really tell.
So really the only three sure bets there: Manuel, Bigelow, and Allen, as far as the returners.
Keenan's the punt returner, the number one punt returner right now. Bigelow and Manuel would be the lineup as the number one, the two
Right.
kickoff returners as of today if we had to play a game tomorrow.
I'm sorry, Bigelow and who?
Mike Manuel.
Yes.
Willis moving back to DB, is that permanent back to where he was
Yeah.
before? Just kind of moved him to get depth at wideout?
Did a nice job. He picked off a ball yesterday. He picked off another one today. You know, he got good feet. You know, and he's another one in the running as a kick returner.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, thanks guys.
Coach.